Not too long ago, I completed my journey of reading the Jujutsu Kaisen manga, and at the end of the whole experience, especially Shibuya, I said something that a lot of people considered controversial, and they considered it to be something that was on borderline blasphemous. I received heinous quote tweets like, oh, this guy has no reading comprehension, and he was reading a different Shibuya, and how on earth could he say that Deku has more depth than Yuuji Itadori? And this is really the topic of this video today. It is a character debate between Izuku Midorya versus Yuuji Itadori. And then the question is, the crux of the problem is, who is deeper, or who is a better character? And it's funny because in the video, I was taken out of context, first of all, let's just say that, but I don't expect people, on Twitter to really try and understand what I'm trying to say, or clearly see the other clips that were on that post that explained my first assertion in detail. But people don't want to do that. We don't like to do that. So I make this video. So if you want to know my answer, if you want to know my thoughts on the subject, you're getting it now. So please don't be a snake, and let's strap in. So let's start off with my opinion of Yuuji, right? For some reason, this statement makes people believe that I don't understand Yuuji's character and I don't like Yuuji. Well, one thing is for sure, is I'll lay this out here today. I like Yuuji more than I do like Deku. So it's not a bias thing here. It has nothing to do with bias. It's just based on what I've seen. Now, let's analyze Yuuji for a little bit, right? Let's not act like I'm some kind of scholar on mangaka and character writing and things of that nature, but this is just from my own observations. If you don't agree, please write in the comment section below peacefully and respectfully, and maybe you can teach me something. Maybe there's something I don't know, but I don't have time for disrespectful ass, monkey ass nigga comments. I'm being serious here. You getting that side of me today. But Yuuji, to me, when you're first introduced to him, you don't really know much about him. From what you see, his demeanor is lovable. He's very happy. He's always trying to have fun. He's pretty funny. His comment about Jennifer Lawrence and tall girls with fat butts, which made Toto love him immediately. That's the Yuuji I knew. That's the Yuuji that I truly enjoyed. But there was a side of him, a very noble side of him, that was influenced by his grandfather. Now, when his grandfather said that it's best that you should help as many people as you can before you die, I think that really resonated with Yuuji. And then, the principle of the Jutsu High challenged that whole methodology, that ideology that he had from his grandfather. And it was like, that can't just be it. Like, what are we talking about here, bro? Like, what do you want to do? And he gives the principal an answer at first, but you kind of start to see that motivation develop when he interacts with Nanami, and he's wondering what is the best way to die, what is the perfect way to die, because he's sentenced to death by the Jujutsu Society because of Sukuna. So he's like, okay, well, if I'm gonna die, I might as well die the way I want to die, by helping as many people as I can and getting this evil out of the Jujutsu world. And I'm like, that's noble, that's great, right? And you see that nobility within him, right? He's a very nice, innocent boy with a lovable character, and everybody can love Yuuji. Yuuji is very easy to love. Some people may say he's boring. I don't particularly think so, but he's lovable. And then as you get deeper, he runs into Mahito, he runs into Junpei, and he's faced with the harsh reality of this Jujutsu world. And I think that's what Nanami really wanted him to understand, that the world that you live in is darker than you think. And Gojo and Nanami had been protecting him from that world until Mahito opened it up with the Junpei stuff. And then as you go along into Shibuya, where things get darker and darker, and Gege starts ripping your heart out and destroying your soul and taking Nanami from us and taking Nobara from us. And I'm just like, my God, why is this happening? And I should have put spoiler warnings. Jesus Christ, I'm so sorry, but you know what I'm saying. Nobara, we don't know yet, but she's out of the picture for now. Also, Sukuna appears. And Sukuna appears after the two little girls who were serving Geto beforehand gave him the finger when he's beaten by Choso. And all of a sudden, Sukuna comes out and annihilates like half of Shibuya. Like, it's just ridiculous. The scene that you see. Beautiful art. And Yuuji is now realizing what he is and what is within him, and how his actions and his weakness will cause a great amount of death in this world. And it's a lot for a 15-year-old to really take in. It's a lot for him to really understand what's going on, and this whole notion of death and responsibility, and Mahito consistently challenging his ideals and his way of life. And Mahito's like, you're just like me, bro. Like, I kill all these humans, but you kill curses. To me, that's a bullshit comparison. And Mahito is, listen, I'll trash Mahito in another video, but I don't like that nigga, so I just want to let you guys know right now. But we're here with Yuuji. And that's where we're getting. And you see that he has to deal with a lot of the external, he has to deal with a lot of external things. His plight isn't always internal. He's dealing with a lot of things internally, but I think he's more realizing the world that he's in, and he's going to adjust as we go along. And I think we'll see a lot more of introspective moments with Yuuji, where you'll finally see, okay, this is how what happened in Shibuya, what happened with Nanami, what happened with Nobara and Junpei, this is how it's affecting him internally. We're gonna get that internal depth that I'm looking for, right? Because what we're seeing now is externally. Yuuji's reacting to everything around him and the world, and it's a shock to him. And my point here, because I have been talking for a bit about Yuuji, my point here is when you compare him to Deku's a little different. Deku doesn't have to face the harsh reality of the world the way Yuuji has yet. I think he's going to now once he wakes up to the world that he's in My Hero. Deku started off with nothing. I'm talking no quirk, bullied by his peers, his daddy not even in the scene, and his hero is All Might. He's always wanted to be a hero, and when he finds out he had no quirk, he was absolutely annihilated. So he is a nerd. He doesn't have a good physical build, so even in society, if we're talking about from a physical standpoint, he's at the lowest point of society. From a quirk standpoint, lowest point of society. And from his own dream, those things compounded together will just have his self-esteem at an all-time low. But the kid keeps trying, and he keeps trying to grind, and he takes notes on people, and then Bakugo bullies the life out of him. So you start off with this inferiority complex, and I know a lot of us have felt that before. And I think with Deku, the problem is his story is so much more relatable, so a lot of people would probably say that Deku is deeper than Yuuji just on a relatability standpoint, but I don't think that's how you should define depth. Now, I'm assuming my words of saying Yuuji was surface level was really poor, so I will apologize for that. It's not a problem. Sometimes we mix up our words, but I explained later on in the video. But my point is that once Deku ran into All Might, he had to build himself up brick by brick. He sacrificed himself for Bakugo. All Might saw it. All Might chose him. Here you have this quirk. Deku's world opens up. Oh, I have this opportunity, but I'm too weak. I can't handle it, and I'll kill myself. So then we go on a long training arc where he has to physically build up his body day after day after day after day, and he had to grind just to get to stage 1, level 1. He can barely use one attack and he destroys his body. So we're like, okay, he's got to deal with that right now. He's dealing with this internal turmoil. He's dealing with that inferiority complex. He has to develop his mentality to be a hero as well. So then we get into the hero society, and he gets into UA, and then all of a sudden you're back at it again. I am here at the last of my class. I can't fulfill all these tasks and all these tests that everyone's doing, but because I showed that one attribute of a hero, I have an opportunity. So now I have to grind again. My peers are Shoto Todoroki. My peers are Bakugo. My peers are Tokoyami. And it's like, we have all these things that Deku has to overcome no matter what. And the appeal of Deku is the fact that he fights through the insecurities that we all share consistently, but obviously to a grander scale, because these are powers and this is more fantasy, so I understand that as well. But he has to fight through that. So we're seeing Deku internally struggle consistently throughout the story and develop his mentality, develop his humanity, and develop who he is as a hero, his whole identity. He has to develop that consistently throughout the story, and that's something that you always see from Deku no matter what. And you've seen it. He's grown. He may not have grown to a point where he's changed his demeanor like Yuuji has recently, which a lot of people misconstrue with incredible character development, which I don't believe so. No, I think it's just that Yuuji needs time to really process it. So when we see him process it, which I think we're going to get in this next arc, I think Yuuji is going to grow incredibly from this next arc. I think it's a factor that Yuuji just hasn't got there yet. And that's why I mentioned that Deku is a deeper character, just because we've seen more of that introspective development from Deku that we're probably going to see with Yuuji soon. And that's why I made that assertion. Now, I probably should have prefaced that we haven't seen a lot from Yuuji just yet, and we've seen a lot more from Deku, which is probably what led me to have that opinion. But for now, I would argue Deku is a deeper, more relatable character than Yuuji is currently at the moment. Now, if you disagree with what I've mentioned, at least I hope you followed to the end of this video, understood every point I made, then you leave a comment, then we have a discussion, and then maybe you can open my eyes to things that I may have missed or I just have not noticed. Because at the end of the day, just because I'm a YouTuber, just because I can sit in front of a camera, it doesn't make me perfect and doesn't make my analysis right. But I do have a right to share my opinion with you guys. But if you're here, thank you for watching to the end of this video. God bless you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys later. Take care.